Queen of the stitch, my girl Dane.
Hello there, my crafty knitters. Welcome back to the Knitted Oaks channel. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on the herringbone stitch as per your request. I received the request for this quite some time ago. And yes, so I'm finally getting to it. And I'm starting here at a slip knot. I'm not normally starting with half the pattern already done because for me, the herringbone stitch was very difficult to do as a tight knitter. So I wanted to demonstrate a quick and easy way that I learned recently at Vogue Knitting Live that was in New York this past January. A knitter showed me how to knit a little looser by casting on loosely to begin with. So I just want to share that with you. Here I have 2 needles, just in case you're wondering what yarn I'm using. This is Vanna's Choice by Lion Brand. So it requires size 9 needles, and that's what I have here, 2 size 9 needles. And what I'm going to do, normally you cast on with 1 needle, but I'm going to cast on over both of these needles. So I just suggest that you cast on lightly. Whatever method you use, this is the one that I know. So I'm just going to do that with you. And you basically cast on as you normally would. You're just going to do it over the 2 needles as opposed to 1. So that is why I wanted to start at the slip knot, just in case you guys don't know how to do that, how to cast on loosely. Now you do. Okay. So here we have 30 stitches. And so now what I'm going to do, I have my desired amount. You can do any even number amount of stitches you want. You have to do an even amount of stitches for the herringbone stitch. I decided to do 30 for the purpose of demonstration. Okay, and so you remove 1 needle, as you saw I did there, and now you have all this extra space. I hope you can see that underneath your needle. Now normally when I'm knitting, it would be really close to this cast on line right here. But there's all this extra space, which is what's going to be needed for this pattern. So it's very basic. It's two steps, basically 2 rows you just repeat over and over. And for the purposes of this demonstration, I am going to knit a little differently. I'm going to knit through the back. A lot of people are concerned and they ask me questions all the time about why do I knit in the front? It looks like I'm purling. It's really knitting, but again, my motto is whatever way you learned, as long as your ending product looks like it's supposed to, there really is no right or wrong way to knit or to purl, as long as you get the finished product. Everyone learns differently. I was taught to knit through the front like this. So to start, you have to knit. You take your first 2 stitches. I hope you can see that. You have to go through the first 2 stitches here. Okay? And you're going to act as though you're going to knit them together. Well, yeah, you are going to knit them together. So you're going to go around your needle and you're going to pull it through. Right? But before you pull the 2 stitches off that you just made 1, you're only going to drop 1 off. Okay? Then you're going to use that second stitch and you're going to go back through the back again, as we did here. Focus, camera, focus. And then you're going to knit as though you were knitting 2 together again. Bring it up, and instead of knitting these 2 off as you normally would, just drop the first stitch off. Leave the second one on your needle. Okay? That second stitch, again, you join it with the next one. And you just continue this till the end of your row. Only drop the first stitch off, leaving the second one on. And you want to knit and leave room because you need it to be loose to do this again. As you can see, it's already giving you a nice little slant like that there. It's a very beautiful pattern, very beautiful stitch. Okay. First stitch only, go back in. Okay, so I'll see you at the end of the row before we turn to do row 2. Okay, here we are at the end of our row, And we're down to the last 2 stitches, so I wanted to come back and show you what's going to happen. So you continue as we were. Dropping off only that first stitch. Now that leaves you with 1, and you're just going to knit that as you would. Okay? And so you're still a little loose, and I know it looks loose and probably sloppy. Turning over to continue with row 2. Now you're going to purl the first 2 stitches together. Only dropping off the first stitch and using that second stitch to join with the next one. Making sure to continually to leave space. You gotta pull because you need it to be roomy, because this is not a pattern to be done with tight knitting. It's gonna be worse off. You're gonna get frustrated, trust me, I know. So see, I pull there to give a little bit of space. I don't pull as tight as I normally would. The end of this row, and I'll see you. Row 3 is the same as row 1. So when we turn this back over at the end, we're going to just continue to knit 2 and drop the first stitch off, using the second stitch to continue on as we did earlier. So I'm going to continue this, and I will see you at the end of this row. Okay, we are back to our last 2 stitches. Alright, and once again, only dropping off the first stitch, and then you're going to knit that last one by itself. Purl that last stitch as you normally would. Okay? Okay, here we are after a couple of rows. So I just wanted to come before camera and show you what it looks like. I really love how beautiful it is, and how if you turn it this way, it looks like fish braids, and it's just very unique. So this is the front. This is the back, which is a little more rugged, but you get the general idea of what it's supposed to look like. This is the beauty of it. Hence the herringbone stitch. If you're doing a project out of this, like let's say this turns into a scarf for you, I would suggest doing a border, only because it looks a lot neater. This is just for the tutorial, so it's just a swatch that I'll end up unraveling. In the beginning of this video, I said to you why I knit through the back on this pattern instead of the front, and I'm going to show you why. This is a little darker. I don't normally use darker yarns like this for tutorials, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'll take a picture of it just to show you. This is what it looks like when I knit through the front. And I already started taking it off before I realized this would be a good reason to show you guys why my style of knitting changed a little bit. I think it's very important. This could be just as beautiful in the sense of it could keep going and just know that it won't be the herringbone stitch. It'll just be something else that's pretty unique. But I want the herringbone stitch, and this is what it looks like. Okay? Again, if I was knitting my way and it came out like this, it's fine. But if I knit my way and it doesn't, then you got to switch to the style that would give you the ending product of what you want. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, knitting is sexy. Bye.